They opt to go for something with a little bit more oomph into that mid-late game stage because, I mean, there was so much early aggression that they had possibilities for, but I just think that the Awelish and the Geb just completely crushed
I also
any kind of engage.
Awelish versus Odin, good luck.
Have a good one. And Zeuspan coming through once again. Poseidon taken away immediately, of course. But this time around for Era Eternity, they want to pick up the Thanatos and the first pick.
Like the pick. This is aggression. This is what we didn't see out of Era Eternity in game number 1. If they're looking to be aggressive, this is the way to go. Thoth and Odin. SoaR's going to play the Odin this time. Man, I don't think he's that good.
Well, I mean, SoaR have a game plan for it, and it looks like Era Eternity has their own kind of method coming through with the Isis pick into the Odin. So whether or not SoaR's going to be able to get the upper hand on this, but we see the Awelish pick. So this is essentially boiling down to now SoaR saying, we can do this better than you, and Era saying, well, we can counter it just as well as you.
Exactly. It's hey, we can all play rock, paper, scissors. So, Susano selected by SoaR Gaming. The Geb is banned out intelligently, because they know that the Awelish going next to it is troublesome. Hercules, Kepri banned out as well. And Ymir will be the final ban here. SoaR Gaming do have the option. They'll go for Rom. So a very late game hunter this time around for SoaR. 2 more picks for Era.
I wonder... I almost feel as though, I was about to say Era Eternity might opt for the Sobek or Bacchus here because those are both picks that TV is very familiar with and accustomed to. I would say he leans a little bit more heavily onto the Sobek than what I've seen him on the Bacchus. But at the same time, it's still a really strong pick. It synchronizes really well with the Awelish ultimate, and hopefully that'll provide them the lockdown potential that they were missing whenever they had the Odin on their side.
Yeah, I think so.
This time around, they might be able to find a better footing with Isis, Awelish,
It's
and
also
Bacchus.
a much better draft for them to come back into the game should they fall behind. SoaR Gaming finish up their draft with a Xing Chen. Very interesting lineups here. Odin on the SoaR side, Awelish on the Era Eternity side. Certainly looking towards that Thanatos. 2 assassins. We'll get into game right now. SoaR Gaming versus Era Eternity. So it will be the jungle Thanatos and the young homie in that solo lane Awelish. Very interesting. A character most known for perhaps her mobility. Stuck in a single lane. How do you feel about, so in general, how do you feel about the short lane assassins, and then specifically the Awelish?
I don't particularly like Awelish in the solo lane. I think that there's a large risk factor involved with her being there as opposed to Thanatos. Thanatos you can build a little bit of tankiness on and kind of get away with playing him as more of that bruiser. Bruiser kind of god, but when you put the Awelish there, you can't just build like a breastplate or some kind of magical defensive item onto the Awelish and find as much success majority of the time. Sure, she can still be a potential great counter to the Xing 10, but his jump is a really fast jump, and the timing for that, you've got to be fast.
It's like Brutalize.
Exactly, and if you miss that and you burn your ultimate, you put yourself in a really susceptible position to not only get ganked, but on top of that, just get completely like locked down because Featherstep is a large portion of the Awelish kit damage.
Yeah, it's a big old burst situation. For me, I don't mind the Awelish in the solo lane. This is some Pecky's nonsense, honestly. if you're familiar with our production homeboy Pecky's, he loves to do the weird, the Loki, the Naja, and the Awelish in the solo lane. And what winds up happening is this assassin becomes supercharged, essentially. You're taking a character that usually runs on AA batteries and hooking him up to a car engine. And so now you're going to be looking at this Awelish. That burst damage is going to come a lot sooner than a lot of times you see these assassins in the jungle. So whether or not this lane matchup works, I don't care. Whether or not this goes well in the early, I don't care. When it comes to mid-game rotations, that's what's going to make or break this selection for me. The young homie has to make an impact in some of these mid-game rotations, otherwise the pick is just kind of silly to me.
It's also important to note that even though Era Eternity were able to invade both of the buffs on the side of SoaR, along with securing their own blue buff, it's not really much of a lead to them, and a large portion of that is attributed to the fact that SoaR secured the Oracles and the mid-camps, and I feel overall that SoaR actually came out on top in that trade. Oracles are probably one of the most important pieces of the early game map to pick up. It just, the vision is awesome, and then on top of that, just the golden XP is like, it's so nice. And once you have that security, you don't really have to worry as a hunter about getting ganked, but the enemy hunter has to constantly live in fear, especially when you're Fatal Ghost trying to play this Izanami and you're already being left in a 1v2 scenario most of the time.
Yeah, Bacchus has been traversing the map, most notably sticking with the mid laner, excuse me. Your mid lane Isis going the helmet build. So is Thoth, defensive-minded mid laners here early on. Clow again playing the Isis. We've seen him do very well on this, what I would call a control mage. Isis generally brings a lot more than damage to the table as opposed to other mages.
Yeah, for Area Eternity, they really want to look for the aggression around Clow's early game kit. Isis, you're always going to have safe clear, and usually you're going to outpush the enemy team, especially against a Thoth.
Right.
Thoth is incredibly weak early game, but pairing it with the Susanoo, I think, is a really smart choice for Clow to opt immediately into the potential Dynasty Plate Helm rush because of the fact that Susanoo can do a ton of burst damage that some people might not necessarily anticipate or expect.
Yeah.
Cloud's been around the block a few times, so I think it was a smart pickup by him to opt for the more utility-style mage build this go-around. Last game, he didn't have a whole lot of success when he was trying to opt for more of a damage route, so I would prefer to see him in this utility phase.
Well, Eternity's certainly going to get aggressive and push Kaden onto the mid lane tower, the tier 2 tower to be specific. And then they'll take their aggression and push it into the speed buff and take that away from SoaR's jungler. But I think one of the bigger points there about Clow's build, who's in trouble, gets jumped on and hit by Shaliber. Ultimate on the way, can't dodge that close, but you can use Aegis. Any Aegis or dodge out of the rest of the damage? No, but he gets the assistance from Zaxi. Well done. But the guys on SoaR to combine to take out the mid lane Clow, who, despite building defensively, doesn't wind up too successful. Aromatica just barely avoiding that one.
That was just completely questionable pathing by Cloud into the mid lane. You know that you're on the enemy side of the map.
Aromatica on the backside, Kaden! You're never safe, buddy! Aromatica gets killed in his own living room. Kaden just goes all the way to the ends of the earth and cleans him up. Speed buff stolen as well. You know, they say junglers they take it personally when you steal the speed buff.
That was an incredibly smart maneuver by Kaden because so often junglers get very greedy with trying to secure that last little bit of farm because they're like, this could be a ward, this could be a mana pot, or finishing off an item. And in this circumstance, Kaden recognized it immediately, goes to those back harpies, and finds Aromatica in a place that he did not want to be as soon as he saw him. And
that is a jungle-to-jungle call. A lot of times you'll see these plays come out from experienced junglers. Kaden has a number of games underneath his belt, where you'll see these calls where the jungler, it's like he's wall hacking, where you just there's no ward or vision there, but you just know, all right, it's 6 minutes. The jungler in his pathing should be at blue buff. Yes, he is. He kills him, right? That's what that call was. He was just like, listen. All right, he made the play. He took the speed. He's at his back harpies with 25% HP. Kaden goes in blind and finds him. That's just because he understands the way the junglers are thinking about their pathing. I love that. Those little plays are really fun to watch for me.
Certainly rough stuff for Area Eternity because Thanatos and Isis are two picks that you don't really expect to go down so early at the start of the game. If anything, you're anticipating them to be the ones picking up the kills at the very beginning. And with them finding themselves already so far behind, it's completely opening up to all this map pressure. And SoaR, just anybody home?
No, they got killed in their living room. Nobody's home. Nobody's left. Everybody's gone. Cloud's gonna get picked up and thrown into the rest of the squad. Immediately pops the ultimate, but he's gonna get popped himself. Kaden gets credit for the kill as Cloud goes down for the count. Oh man, rough stuff. Rough stuff. That's exactly what you said, isn't it? It's just there's only one feeling when it comes down to it's just rough. Like that's all you can really say. Left side's gonna get even in more trouble than Aromatica is right now. Shaliber picks up the kill. Long range, just abilities coming out from Thoth. Man,
That wall, I mean, you can never underestimate the range of Thoth abilities when you see that wall
Yeah.
being put down.
Once you drop the window, it's just Thoth can hit you from anywhere. Caden picks up young homie right quick, follows him. Ooh, what a wonderful game Caden's having. Just a nice little bursts of greatness here and there, right? Even the tornado, the ultimate on the Gold Fury, right? He just drops it knowing that he can throw it at anybody that shows it. Just, I'm loving. It's 7.5 in a game 2. I'm already happy about Caden.
I mean, that's just the downfall of Awilish right there,
Sure.
especially against the Season of Jungle. He's probably one of the best junglers for chasing her down, considering that he can just TP right to you, just like a bots would, so to say. And young homie, unfortunately, he panicked right there. That's a moment of panic where you get hit by an ability, you're just like, oh, I got to get out of here. And then when you try to, it's just like, oh, I'm not out. And I just, it really is a series of unfortunate events on the side of Era Eternity.
Oh, Caden again has control. There's the pancake flip, and that's going to be a kill for Medieval. Clow stuck in the ring on his own ult, and Stormy Rays hits him with the Goomba Stomp after Shaliber's ult smokes him out. Clow and his jungler 0-6 and 0 combined. Really just, what's the tagline of this game? Rough stuff for Era Eternity.
I would have so much more preferred to see the Awilish go into the jungle on the side of Era Eternity, because there have been so many engagements that Stormy just gets to be absolutely belligerent with on this Odin. He's just recklessly jumping in because he knows that Awilish is in the solo lane.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like Era Eternity have almost played themselves at this point in time.
Oh, 100.
And I mean, Thanatos against Xing that's an infinitely better matchup already, just because you have the silence, you have the one in case he's trying to just, base tank you. And then for Awilish, you just have such a good deterrence for the Odin to not be as reckless with these jumps. And I feel as though they had a mindset behind the whole, we want to invade their jungle early on.
Sure.
But then Era Eternity were just really unable to really grasp or secure anything after that.
Here's my beef. I mean, so number one, the thing that's been on my mind the entire game is the fact that you guys drafted water into fire. You guys successfully got the rock to the enemy's scissors, and then you put it in your pocket and didn't use it. The fact that Awilish is the hard counter to the Odin, and you shove it in the solo lane is just that is problem for me. Here's a question though. Here's travel with me off the beaten path. Bumba's Mask is 500 gold. How bad of an idea? Fatal Ghost runs away. Should not gonna be good. The dot is too strong. One shot, one kill. Zaxi picks up another one by himself. That's a solo kill. 500 gold for the Bumba's Mask. How bad of an idea is it to just swap right now? Just say, this didn't work, let's switch.
At this point in the game, I feel as though the Thanatos would just get bullied way too hard. He'd be bullied way too hard by the Xing and just get chunked either way. He doesn't have any magical defense online. At least young homie is building a little bit of magical defense to try and compensate for the damage coming out of the Xing. Although it's probably just one of the scenarios of too little too late. And I just don't see how he can really utilize this pick against this draft that SoaR is running and make it be effective as far as saving Cloud, because Cloud is just in a world of pain the entire time. Like, Odin Ring doesn't even need to fall on him at this point in time. He's just dying, and Aromatica following slowly after, and it's just a complete and absolute bloodbath.
I mean, it's 10 zip right now. Era Eternity trying some different things, not working out. TV's gonna run away to the right-hand side. Homie, not going nowhere. That's going to be another death of the solo laner. 0-2, 0-4, 0-4, 0-0, 0-1. Those are your slash lines for Era Eternity. Not very successful this time around. And, I think in this situation, you immediately look to the newer players, but I don't think the problem for Era Eternity is coming out of the support position, honestly. Well, I think very few games, if any, are lost in picks and bans. And I'm not going to say that about this game, but this is one of those games that you can talk about the argument for.
And I mean, another important note here, you see the Izanami trying to opt for the early frenzy to maybe make something happen against Zaxi on this round, but at this point in time, you just, but I don't think that it's quite enough, especially not if Zaxi lands his Sunder.
Oh, yeah.
The Sunder is going to be more than enough damage combined with the Ickful and Chins to knock him out immediately.
Zaxi has the Sunder. I mean, that if you ever want proof that someone's feeling themselves, it's going to be the Hunter Sunder. I think Sunder, and this is not Sunder in general. Sunder's a fantastic item as Era Eternity.
Fire Giant?
Yeah, this is what the Frenzy's for. It's the last-ditch effort going for the Fire Giant. Don't be surprised if Kaden picks up Fatal Ghost here. That's going to be another one for Shaliber, 13 to zip. And with bad luck, 13 on the kills. SoaR go ahead and find good luck themselves.